Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by BlackRifleCoffee.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest on Drinkin Bros today, Miss Christine Lakin.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, that's nice.
Happy Monday.
Yeah.
Am I not supposed to say it's Monday?
Yeah, you can.
All right.
We've
fine.
recorded a ton in a row.
It
This is a
don't
big
matter.
day, Leg Dog.
It is.
For more reasons than you know.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, because I've seen all 160 episodes of Step by Step.
Yes.
Ooh, 157, but I like that you rounded up.
All right.
You were his childhood crush.
Excellent.
Because I want to start off by saying that and knocking that out of the
All
way.
right. All right.
You
Is
know,
it-
you acted very nonchalant when I walked in the front door. So
Yeah.
I'm going to give you some props for just kind of putting those
you.
feelings on the back
Did,
burner.
did you want me to kind of, do the
No,
dot-
but you didn't seem nervous at all. You're like, hey. You're
Yeah.
kind of like on your phone. It was a lot of like, hey, what's up?
He tried to cool guy you. He tried
Yeah,
to cool
no,
guy you. That's what
he
he
did the
did.
head
No,
nod.
I'll give it credit. I'm fighting with the computer right now.
Oh, okay.
So it's
So that's taking over
yeah,
your thoughts?
because
taking your
just
whole
randomly it's not letting us airdrop our video files that we need. So I'm like
Last
sitting
day,
here
yeah,
going,
nerd
"What
problems.
the fuck is going on right now? This worked last night." Like, so yeah, that's a good distraction.
Okay.
I'm
That was a good
gonna embarrass you even more.
All right.
I'm gonna lay it all out there. There was a picture of you, like a before and after picture of you on TMZ.
Okay.
When we were shooting Range 15, and it was just like, oh, the girl from Step by Step is all grown up, and you came over, and you were looking at the phone, and you go, Jesus Christ, she's fucking hot. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah. He's like, why are you looking? I was like, oh, it's one of my good friends and whatever. And he goes, you know her? Oh God, get on the show. And I said, next time we're in LA, I'll call her.
It
up
was-
and get
it
on
was-
the
Why,
show."
thanks.
Yeah.
You had the lead on Michelle Trachtenberg.
Oh, thank you.
You were
Well,
I think
more
by a
mature,
lot.
more cool. Like you definitely like. I imagine like Michelle would just want to like read a book or something together. Where you
Michelle
definitely you want to
Trachtenberg
party.
would definitely not want to read a book. Are
you
Tell
sure?
you that. Yes.
Really?
Yeah. She was crazy.
Really?
Yeah. I've met her a few times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's got some intimate history of Michelle Trachtenberg.
You know, I don't actually.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But a friend of mine did. And
Oh,
it was
wow.
just like, yeah, kind
But that's
Kinky?
nice.
of crazy.
Okay.
She was kind of crazy, kind of
Cool.
kooky, kind of
That's
kooky.
good.
I like that. See, you never know. It's the ones that you think are going to read a book or like
Yeah.
take you to
Yeah.
a church group.
Yeah.
No, very, very crazy, kinky.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. And like, dude, you were here back before like all the Me Too, like you were there for the fun days.
Oh yeah.
So like,
Right.
yeah, Andrew
Well, yeah.
Keegan and those
did you
guys.
Did you guys like? Because that show was on fire like in the heyday of Nickelodeon.
Sure.
Like, so did you guys all hang out? Like
Well, yeah.
Keenan and Kel and all the people from Hey Dude and
Everybody who was a
There's-
child actor,
Yeah.
you guys were all bros, right?
Yeah, there was one pot and they were like, go hang out here and that's where you go. No, I mean, to a degree, yes. Depends. There were levels at which you
Well, you guys are all
interacted.
meeting at like the Kids Choice Awards and all
we
that.
were meeting at,
Yeah.
at like charity events and Kids Choice Awards and things like that. But I will say the people that I mostly saw and hung out with as a kid were like not to be. This sounds so segregated. We were all in the same network. But
Sure.
that's because we went to network parties. We didn't
Upfronts.
film at the same lot, all of us, but
Right.
we would be at upfronts, we'd be at network parties. We would just end up like so it was like Boy Meets World, knew all of them, hung out with a bunch of them. Definitely like Full House. There were the kids from Home Improvement. All of this was ABC,
Yeah.
right?
JTT,
yeah.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yeah,
I mean,
saw
everyone had a crush on
the
him.
older guy Brad tried to crowdfund a film project like a year and a half ago.
Oh yeah.
It didn't work.
No. No.
Family Matters. They were 2 stages over. Saw them a lot. But then there were the Nickelodeon peeps. They all worked at a totally different lot across town. So if you were going to see them, it was going to be more at like a Ronald McDonald Christmas charity event.
Right.
You know, and sometimes you'd be like, who's that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because as a kid, I wasn't watching a shitload of TV. 'cause
Clarissa
I was-
explains it all.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I knew Melissa for
Yeah,
years.
she's good friends with.
And yeah,
Melissa,
I've known her for a long time.
Does she still run an ice cream store?
No, I don't think she has that, but she is directing an awful lot now.
Is she really?
She redid, I don't know if you guys know this, The Watcher in the Woods.
Yeah.
I loved that movie as a kid.
She directed it?
She directed the remake.
Shit.
Yeah, I think it was Lifetime.
That's crazy.
I know. And she just directed an episode of The Goldbergs. Yeah, she's like a mage director now.
That's crazy.
It's awesome.
Everybody, it seems like a lot of you guys stuck around and like continued to like you're the definition of a working actor who works every single day. Like
Well,
following your Instagram
fucking hustling.
is exhausting. Yeah,
She's
like
got
I
like
feel tired.
40
looking
video
at your-
games
I'm
under your
tired.
belt.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. And I had this conversation with my husband 2 nights ago. I was like, I'm so tired. I've
Yeah.
been working my ass off since I was like 8, and I don't know how much longer I can do this.
It's crazy.
You gotta
'cause
take
chore-
over.
You do choreography as well.
I do a shitload of stuff. I do choreography for the Goldbergs from other network shows. I've done Westworld, True Blood, goes on. I host a podcast. I executive produce and star in my own show, Hollywood Darlings for Pop.
And that you guys have season 2 coming out too, right?
Season 2 coming out April 18th on Pop. 8
Yeah.
episodes. Yeah. I'm also trying to direct, so I've directed like 4 projects, trying to get my foot in that, cable or network door, which is increasingly difficult. As much as people will say they want women directors, they won't take a chance on anyone who hasn't done something before.
Yes.
So you're in this catch-22 where they say that they want to hire you, but they're actually only going to hire the 5 women who they've hired before.
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah.
a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, because they all want a reel, but the problem is you can't get a reel without actually directing an episode
Right.
and X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Clayton Crawford, who was on, is directing this week's episode of Lethal Weapon to get into the guild.
Right.
And do,
That's great.
yeah, and
That's
all
great.
of that. I know. But for female directors,
Really, like the way so many women have done it is that they've been on a show as an actor, and that ends up being whatever their season 3 or season 4 renegotiation is. I know with Melissa, when she had her show on ABC Family with, sorry, my brain is a little addled this morning. Joey, help me out here.
Oh,
Lawrence.
yeah, Joey Lawrence. Yeah.
Melissa and Joey. She directed like several of their episodes, and it was her show,
Yeah.
rightly as she should, and she was very good at it. So she came off that show with an arsenal of other episodes that then she's now being able to parlay her career into other avenues. So like that's the thing you have to do, which is kind of like crazy, is you have to almost create your own show, get it on the air, and then after season 2 be like, I'm going to direct this thing.
Right.
know?
Which is fucking impossible.
Which is
Next
really
to impossible.
fucking impossible.
Are they letting you direct Hollywood Darlings at all?
We're going to see, aren't they? Aren't we?
Was
I've got a
your- is your-
renegotiation coming up, people.
Yeah, is your new season done? Is that wrapped?
Yeah, our new
Okay.
season is done. We've been in this weird sort of world with that show because our show is not scripted.
Right.
It's this hybrid comedy, so it looks like a single cam, and for all intents and purposes, it feels like a single cam comedy. But it's this partially scripted, unscripted thing where it works very much like Curb. So we
yeah,
have
well, you need a loose script or like 10 pages.
yes,
and
we have
then-
outlines,
yeah,
right, and then we have suggestions from the peanut gallery in
Yeah,
the corner
yeah.
of like try this, try that, try this, which is great because after 10 hours you're kind of like, what am I saying?
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun, and the people we've had on, I think it's a learning curve for them because they come in and they're like, what am I doing? Like as an actor who's only done, who's never improv before, which I've done a ton of that, but for people who come on as a guest star and they're thrown into the show and they're like, I don't understand, like what am I saying here? I'm like, don't worry about it, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Like,
and
it's
every
fine.
actor always will lie to you and say, "Oh my god, a ton of improv. I improv all the time," and then they get there and shut down.
They don't
And
know
you're
what to
just
do.
like,
It's like deer in the headlights.
Sweet, what happened to your ton of improv? Because you
Yeah.
got nothing here.
But then you'd be surprised. There are people who I'm like, oh, this is great. We've got this person on. Cool. I don't know if they have any improv experience, but we'll throw them in. We'll see how they do. And they totally surprise you. And they go for it like 1,000,000%. And you're so excited. Tatiana Ali, one of them.
Really?
So funny. So
Wow.
good. And I mean, I've known her since we were kids, and she's a very smart person and a great actress, but just not somebody who I thought I didn't know that she would gravitate towards it as much as she did. And I'm so excited for her episode.
So what's your dream out of all of this? If you could be the next big female director, would that be?
I don't even think it's about being like the next big anything. I just want to like continue having a career that I don't know. Is it always going to be this much of a hustle? Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably. If I could be able, the dream would be writing and directing a show that I executive produce, and
In
then maybe
Atlanta?
I want to star in every now and then.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
That's the dream for me.
we had Michael Brandt on yesterday, and it sounds like even with him, he's still doing it. Like,
Yeah,
You know?
we had the creator of Chicago Fire, Chicago
yeah.
Med. He wrote Too Fast, Too Furious, 3:10 to Yuma,
Yeah.
all of that stuff, and like,
he didn't want to produce. He just wanted to
He didn't
write
want to be
and
the
get out.
showrunner.
But then
and then he
ended
boom.
up doing 5 years of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and and I was like, "What's next?" And he was just it was that same thing of like, I don't know. I hope,
Yeah.
something cool is there, but I don't know if that will ever end.
Yeah, I don't know if it will either. And the sad reality is that, as an actress in this industry, it's like, I feel like you're like a gymnast. There's like, you peak at a certain time and they're like, oh yeah, remember her.
Yeah.
Like,
You're now becoming a
she's
coach.
old now.
Yeah.
Like regulate her to like the moms on Nickelodeon, the crazy aunts on that show.
Yeah.
You unfortunately get to a point where you're playing moms and crazy aunts.
Yeah.
So I've just always seen my career as like I've not wanted to be stuck in that box waiting for the phone to ring. That is like the worst, because I think when you put your whole life into something and then you get to a certain age and you're like, now what?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not working as the ingenue that I once was, which is obvious and totally normal. But then to sit around and say I'm supposed to like find a new career at 40 and go be someone's assistant,
Right.
like fuck that, fuck that. I've got too much experience and I'm too smart for that shit. So,
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard.
Is there any part of you, because you're from Atlanta originally,
Yeah.
is there any part of you that's like, man, I could go get a mega house back in Atlanta?
For sure, and it's not off the table.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it's that's always in the back of my mind. But then what would I
40
do
times
there?
the
That's
house.
The other, like, what would I do?
Well, so here's what I heard, because some friends of mine who've done it, who've moved back to Atlanta, were
Yeah.
just like, they're big fish in a small pond casting wise, so they
Uh-huh.
get everything. So they're constantly working or, doing guest spots on shit. I'm just like,
Yeah.
you would probably go back and crush everyone. So there would be that aspect of it. Because, every 2 streets on Atlanta, it seems like something's filming.
I know. There's so much going on. I mean,
And
we
it's
have to see
insane.
what's happening with the new, like, there's a whole backlash happening right now, which I don't know.
In Atlanta?
Uh-huh.
Over the tax break?
It's not just the tax break. It's actually, it's a little more complicated and has to do with the NRA. And there's a bunch of Hollywood types that are now deciding to boycott. So it'll be interesting to see if anything really happens or doesn't.
Well, it'll come down to the NRA versus money, because Georgia's
course.
tax break is insane and there's no
know.
limit on it. So like,
But it will also come down to whether certain people will film there or not. And it just depends on if certain actors take a stand and say, I'm not filming in that state because of this.
Sure.
Then, it's like what happened with the transgender bathrooms. People went, it's like so up in arms. They're like, forget it. We're not going to Georgia. Like, that's it. And then Georgia was like, okay.
Right.
And they backed down on it. So I don't know. But I can't imagine, like, there's so many people like Tyler Perry and many others. I think Screen Gems, they created all of these huge studios. There's so much invested there. Like, that's just gonna become a ghost town?
Yeah, there's
Doubtful.
one in Wilmington. They lost their tax break, and it's Screen Gems. So Screen Gems still has their studio there. But you drive by it and you see like
nothing.
20 cars, and you're like, shit. They're just waiting for the next show to cycle through.
Right.
That 6 show that was on for SEAL Team 6 that was on AMC. They shot that there. A couple other
okay.
shows, but their tax break is stuck at 10 million.
Okay.
So they'll give you, enough of
Something.
a break for like 3 or 4 shows, and they'll shoot there. But if they packed up and left Atlanta, it would be like old MySpace, where it's just fucking weird songs and equipment and shit left
that's
up. And you're like,
perfect.
yeah,
We
cool.
could get it on 10 cents for the dollar and buy a studio.
I know. It'll move to another state,
Yeah.
is what it is. It'll eventually move to another
now
state.
they're looking at Louisiana's like, why did we ever give ours up? Remember when Louisiana was
Oh
so hot?
yeah, God.
So-
Shreveport. Everybody was going to Shreveport. It was crazy.
So I don't know. We'll see. We just renovated our house. We move in next month, God willing. It's been a 14-month process.
Oh yeah,
you go.
It's real quick. They're always
it's
real
so
quick.
Construction's amazing.
Contractors,
it's so fun.
everything.
Yeah,
Super easy. It's really cheap.
Yeah. The plumbing guy. He's always on time.
The city is a delight to deal with.
Oh, every single day.
So, we did that knowing that we started a family. We might want to have another child. We don't know how long we'll be in LA, maybe for the foreseeable future, maybe for another 10 years. I don't know.
Right.
But I have this little house in the hills, and if we'd sold
Your
it.
house is dope.
Thanks. I love my little house.
You'd make a fucking mint off that. It's rad. It's got a yard. It's got an awesome view of the city. And
It's a
she's
great area.
She's infamous for throwing the best parties of all time, like theme parties. Yeah. So you have to dress up, and I mean, we're talking Jello shots, like
Yeah.
Oh wow.
oh, you name it.
I think I've thrown like a.
They're always super elaborate.
Trailer park bash, which is like everyone was just like total trailer
Yeah,
bash. That was super fun. We did a like a prom theme, and I had a full keg on the yard, and people were doing keg stands with Jello shots.
I was at your prom party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the prom party.
Yeah.
And I think you were in like a Beetlejuice. I want to say you were in like almost like a Beetlejuice tux.
70s, yeah.
70s.
Yeah, a 70s style
Amazing.
Beetlejuice tux, which was
So
awesome.
good.
Super proud of that.
Yeah, and then those kind of started to morph into like the Christmas parties and the New Year's parties. I can't wait to have another party there. I
Yeah.
love throwing parties there. They're so fun.
It's just it's the perfect space. So
Yeah.
if you do end up ever selling that,
Yeah,
you'll
so we
make
added
a
a second
fucking
story.
mint off of that.
We added 3
Did you really?
bedrooms and
Holy
2
shit.
bathrooms.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
massive
Holy
undertaking.
shit.
Yeah,
Pick.
that
Yeah.
was the city. The city going,
Yeah.
whoa, you're doing
How
what?
are the views now? Sick, right? Yeah, you're like, yeah.
Pretty good.
We did it. We did it.
So from the master, we have a view off both sides.
That's great.
And yeah, I mean it's awesome. The whole house is like opened up. The front room is like open to above. I mean, it feels really big.
That's
and
great.
Really, it flows really well. So with that in mind, we're like, all right, we're gonna do this. We own the house. Might as well, that way. Whenever we decide we want to cut bait and
Yeah, hightail
jump,
out, yeah.
hightail out, then we can.
Yeah.
And the other thing is too. I don't know if you've heard about this app called Third Home. I think this is amazing.
What is it?
It's Third Home.
Okay.
Apparently, it's like Airbnb, but it's a little more of like fancy. And so, if you have a house that's a certain cachet,
Yeah.
and they let you in, you can do trades with other people. So it's not even like, hey, I'm renting my house. You can do that too.
Yeah,
But you
yeah.
could say to somebody like, hey, I want to go to like a beautiful home on the beach in Miami. You want to trade with me? And someone's like, sure, your house looks cool. I want to go to LA, take my kids to Disneyland, and
No shit.
That's
Yeah.
freaking rad.
doesn't that sound awesome?
Yeah, that's
I
rad.
gotta get on this thing.
That's great.
I'm just trying
Dude,
to figure out a vacation,
your
man.
place in Wilmington would be.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I got a couple places there. And it's
Just get that on the Third Home.
yeah, get it on the third home. Yeah. See if they want a soft swing. You know?
Yeah.
Soft swing.
Yeah, a soft swing is like, hey, you can watch or you can participate, but there's no pressure from anyone.
Oh, great. Okay, cool. Cool,
So that's
cool.
what a nice soft
Did
swing
you ever
is.
go to any?
It's called
like,
soft swap, actually.
Yeah,
soft
Yeah.
Did you ever go to any of those weird like sex parties here in LA in mansions that were like that?
Phew. I mean, I work.
Like, which one do I want to talk about?
Yeah, I've worked a couple of them. It's funny, a buddy of ours was here. No, but like.
You really did?
Oh yeah.
What do you mean you worked them?
So I got my, I don't know, it's not start, but I couldn't find a fucking agent when I got here, a manager. So I sent out like 300 headshots and resumes every week for like 3 or 4 weeks. It was like 900, 1,200 headshots. Only one person called.
Okay.
And it was a commercial agent, and he said, "Hi, are you really 6'3"? I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, too tall for cars." Hung up the phone. So I was like,
Wait, to do like car commercials?
car commercials, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And
okay.
I was like, okay. So I was like, I got to figure out where all the agencies are. They were at Staples Center was just about to open.
Yeah.
They were hiring waiters for the luxury boxes. And my
Okay.
first night, I had Ice Cube, the rapper, and this black chick had ICM. She was like, I think it's like a bank or something.
Hilarious.
ICM's obviously
Yeah.
one of the top 3 agencies. We switched. I met all of them, and then they started hiring me out, like the agents and lawyers and all that stuff, hiring me out to work private parties.
Okay, great.
But you never knew who was going to come over, and you just sign NDAs and all this other shit. And I mean, some of those parties got fucking crazy, where it was just like,
Is that at people's homes?
oh yeah. At homes, but it was with the biggest actors on the planet.
Oh
Like,
my God.
yeah, I mean, I could drop some fucking dimes where you're just like, hey, I'll put it to you this way. My wife knows this. There was one at Staples Center where these people are super famous too, where they were like, hey, they were smoking weed during in a Eurythmics concert with Annie Lennox, and they're like, hey, we want to go fuck in the employee bathroom. And I was like, oh, okay. Sure, you can go have sex in there. It's only one thing or whatever. And they're like, we need your key, obviously. And I was like, oh fuck. So I had my employee key. Walked him down to the employee bathroom, And they were like, wait here, make sure nobody comes or whatever. So I just stand outside and listen to them fuck for 15 minutes.
No way.
At Staples Center. And like the Eurythmics is going on, in the background. And you're just like.
Just give me 2 credits each. A credit for each of them.
Oh, boy. They're so famous, it might give it away. I wish there was an obscure movie where I could be like, oh, this little one.
I mean, there's a lot of people in movies. You're like Ocean's 11.
Wedding Crashers.
Okay.
Almost Famous. So I'll give you that's a credit of
Okay.
each, but like, obviously after the show's over, I'm gonna fucking tell you. But like that type of shit would happen, and then shit got even wilder because people had money, and it was before the DVDs ended, so
Yeah.
Vivid had a booth.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So Vivid had a booth, and afterwards you have to go and clean up. Like everybody's got to be out of the booth at a certain time.
Right.
They can hang. I think it's like an hour after the game is over, hang in their booth, close out or finish up whatever food or liquors in the booth or whatever. And towards the end of the night, and it was like a Kings game. No one ever went to Kings games, like
Right.
LA Kings. You can just give those tickets away over and over and over, and they're champions.
Yeah,
but
totally.
it's not a hockey town, really.
Not really.
So I get this rap on the arm from my manager. It was just like, hey, we need you to go down to the Vivid booth. Like, we can't get them out of there. And I was like, oh, yeah, no problem. And they were like, well, I mean, there's a problem going on, but like, we need you to get them to stop. And I was like, all right, cool. I walked in. There was a dude fucking this girl on the coffee table inside Staples Center. Show's over. Like, people are cleaning up the aisles, all of the shit. And there's Coke all over the table.
Oh, no.
Everywhere. Yeah. So I'm like, hey, guys. Everything you're doing looks like a blast, and it's awesome. I have to get you out of here. Like, you can't be here.
We're locking up.
We're closing up. We're
You're gonna be
locking
locked
up.
inside.
And the guy just looks at me. He's got Coke all over his face. He's having sex with his girl from behind. He looks up at me and he goes, oh, yeah. Totally. I'm so sorry. Hey, do you want a bump on the way out? I was like, I'm totally good. But I'll give you like 5 minutes to clean yourselves up and get out of here or whatever. And it was just like, all right, cool. 5-10 minutes goes by. I go back. They're still graphically fucking on this table. Yeah. And now she's got Coke on her. And I'm like, oh my God, there's no way. So like I had to stand inside their room while their suites, while they got dressed. And I was like, look, I'm not going to tell the cops. I'm not going to fucking call security on you guys. But I was like, for real, man, you got to get the fuck out of here. So like put your shit on. I can walk you down like a side entrance, whatever. And like they find, oh, you're right. Sorry. We got caught up in the Coke and all of it. I was like, I get it. And I'm not to say that I'm not proud of all of it. Not to say that it doesn't look like a blast. All I'm saying is it's past an hour. Like, you have to get the fuck out of here. And that went on for a while. So like you saw different celebrities in their boxes doing shit, or you get used to shit and you're just like, oh fuck. I mean, and there was a service elevator, so we had to get them out of there if they were real fucked up. Right. And just get them in a limo, because it was a limo underneath the way underneath Staples Center, just to get them out of there so paparazzi and all that stuff wouldn't come and get them. So I worked a shit ton of those, where it was just like, oh man,
that's like high end. Like there were, not that I ever went. The reason I asked you, not that I went to any of these, but I was definitely invited to one or two. There were these weird parties that would happen in these mansions in the Hollywood Hills, but they were like sex parties. And you would have to be invited by someone who was like a member of these groups, and they would essentially, from what I heard, you would go into different rooms and people were just having sex, and you could decide if you wanted to participate or just watch or whatever. And there were bars, and that was like the
Silicon Valley. That's going on right now. They're having these crazy orgies and
nerds.
Yeah, but they're taking psychedelics. Okay. So like they claim they're finding like a
God.
Close, like a new thought process to where it's like we want to free our minds, let go of all the other shit, and That's what they're
And get
doing.
laid.
Yeah, I mean, and
They're
even,
basically doing everything reverse. They're creating companies, becoming
Yes.
billionaires,
Yep.
and they're like, I gotta go back to ninth grade.
hey, give fuck, yeah.
Yeah,
So like,
I gotta get laid and do some LSD.
Get my fuck on.
Elon Musk got caught at one of them, and so he came out and released a statement and was like, look, I didn't know it was gonna turn into a sex party. He was like, I bounced like at midnight, before all the sex started. It was just like, come on. You put a car in his face. Of course you were fucking. Of course.
I think he's an alien.
I
think he might be an alien among us.
He's crazy, isn't he?
Yeah.
That shit's nuts.
But I love it all. I think it's all super interesting.
It's great.
I don't want to go below the surface of the earth and have a car take me 7 minutes to the airport, like on a track, because that makes me nervous.
When I watched that footage, I couldn't believe.
That makes me really nervous.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about this.
It goes, 600 miles an hour?
Something like that. So there's these tracks that basically your car would get lowered.
Yep.
Your car, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Your car would get lowered into the earth. It would get on a track, and then the track is like, and it basically goes 600 miles an hour.
But there's
to your
air
destination.
around you on all sides. And so right now they're testing it with this train from Westwood to LAX to the airport.
Right.
What it is it looks like a 2-train car. And you get it. It's underneath the earth. They shoot it through this hole, but it's all based on air. So when you get there, I mean, I think they said Westwood to LAX was 6 minutes.
Yeah, 6 minutes.
Which was like, fuck.
It's life changing.
I mean,
Yeah,
it could
but it's
be.
going so fast. Like you're going 600 miles an hour. If
Anything
something
went wrong,
goes
you're
wrong, you're
fucked.
fucking dead.
But then you know what? I thought the same thing. Like that train, the
Amtrak.
tunnel that goes underneath. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That goes underneath from London to Paris. That goes underneath the water. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. What if you get stuck in there? I've
been
taken it
around.
so many times.
right. You don't even think about
I
it.
just mean
No,
like
everyone takes
Amtrak
it.
crashes once a year. Like
Yeah.
shit happens.
Yeah, I don't know. Amtrak's like something's up with Amtrak.
It's weird,
People
and
are falling asleep.
I
I don't
don't
know what's
trust
happening.
people who
People are
ride it on
texting.
on a real basis everywhere. I don't trust them.
There's like flip phones.
I
They
don't
have
get it.
flip
Yeah.
phones.
Because a big, huge producer friend of mine was just like, yeah, I got this, job in Atlanta, music video, and he's like, I think my lady and I are gonna take the train, and I was like,
To Atlanta?
yeah, from LA, and I was like, what?
First of all, more expensive than a plane ticket.
Yes, but he said he wanted to see the country. He was just like, look, I don't know if
All the shitty
we're about to have a
because
child,
along
and we're gonna go see the country and all that shit, and. He said afterwards it was the worst experience of his life.
Really?
the way. It's not the Orient Express, people.
No.
This is not, we're not traveling like in the heydays of the 1920s. Nobody is walking around in a fur handing you a glass of champagne.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds fun.
And
Yes.
he said it broke down maybe 5 or 6 times or got delayed.
dear.
And he
Nope.
said the Wi-Fi on it, he was like, good luck. He goes, the phone barely worked. And then it's hot. It's hot and sweaty in the train,
Gross.
like depending upon where you're going. And I was like, oh my God.
only
And he
time I'm
and it
interested
took
in-
fucking forever. It took him like 5 days.
Yeah, no, forget it. The only time I'm interested in taking a train is in Europe. That's the only time it just feels right to me.
Right.
You're like, yeah, just get on a train. That
Why not?
feels-
Let's just get on a
Get on a
train.
train. Have a beer. Shut up.
Let's get on a train.
Because everywhere in Europe takes like 5 hours to get to.
Yeah.
And then you're there.
Yeah,
You're in
yeah.
another country. So whatever.
I want to backpedal to Step by Step, by the way.
Okay.
Because the big guy here has been waiting for you to come on for a lot of shows. Will you tell him that
Let me
people...
take a sip of my hydrogen.
Wait,
water.
why am I
Yeah,
the big
exactly.
guy? You refer to me like I'm the Hulk.
Yeah, well...
The big guy
you
over
are.
here.
The big guy. The big guy who ate 3 breakfasts this morning. Will you tell him that there's like owl junkies, like who wanted you to wear the hat and shit? Take pictures.
I don't know that there really were, but I made that up. Just for the sake of Love and Lincoln, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
I
thought that
just
was a
made that
real
up.
story that
No.
happened to you. It was like, hey, can you put the hat on backwards? This would be
No.
awesome. Oh, man.
No, but it would be hilarious and amazing if so.
God, I thought that was real. I thought that was based on like a real thing.
Oh God, I'm such a good actor.
Yeah.
No, but I always thought that would just be funny if someone was just like, like in my own sick mind, like somebody was just like, "Hey, I
People
know
were just-
you're gorgeous, but if you could just wear the backwards hat, that's what I'm really into." Like that was the fetish.
But I get it. Like, I see it. That's why I didn't even blink. So when you brought up that storyline, I was like, yep, that's happened probably.
Well, you know, it's so weird. There's people today, even like even when we're promoting Hollywood Darlings, you know, people say shit on social media, and it's just funny because they think that you can't see it,
right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But they do things like, oh yeah, I know Jody, yeah, Fuller House, oh yeah, Beverly. Who the fuck is the one in the middle? And I'm like, you got to be kidding. But if I put a backwards hat on, it's like, oh yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Like,
I know
that's
that
the
is.
trademark. You know,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, but I still don't think you'll never be in as bad a shape as Topanga. Nobody will ever call her by her real name.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Ever.
No, but
like,
she looks the same.
She looks the
she's
same.
got
Have
the
you seen
long
her?
hair.
Yeah.
She's very striking. You know.
Yeah.
not in a million years will anybody ever even remember her real name.
Danielle.
I don't know it.
See,
I don't
you
either.
It is Danielle.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's always
Always
Topanga.
Topanga.
Always Topanga for me.
So funny.
That's it.
So I mean, you're lucky in that sense.
I guess. Yeah. I mean. No
Well,
one's really calling
the
me
reason
out.
why I asked is like I see Jodie Sweetin. It seems like every week some stalker's getting arrested for her.
Yeah.
She had one like 2 days ago on TMZ.
I know. She's got some bad luck, man.
They get arrested.
Yeah. Crossing.
Crossing.
Come on. No, but I could. I saw literally 2 days ago Jodie Sweetin. There was a dude on the fucking roof got arrested for Jodie Sweetin, and I was like,
Have you ever had a good stalker?
You know,
because you haven't made it unless you have a good stalker.
I know. I had a couple when I was younger that were kind of like creepy because especially when you're
Writing
a child,
handwritten letters.
Yes.
Like,
and when you're a child and the person that is writing you over and over and over again and threatening to show up at the gate of Warner Brothers and then does show up at the gate of Warner Brothers, and this is an adult person, this is an adult man.
Sure.
There's something not mentally stable with people like that. So there were some of those. I do get letters from people that, you know, you can tell they are not really with us mentally or emotionally. But I wouldn't suggest that nothing.
still getting letters?
I do. I get a lot of letters.
Like
Yeah.
mailed letters.
Yes, mailed letters.
Wow. Mm-hmm. What the?
That's crazy.
Yeah,
do those
mailed
come
letters.
to?
Even
well,
this day
people
and age?
request, people request autographs. And my thing with autographs is like, I'm happy to give you one and I'm happy to supply a picture, but you have to send me an SASE.
Return. Yeah.
Because man, the postage can get fucking expensive.
I know it's crazy, right?
and
Well,
it's a lot
just
of work.
getting
Yeah.
to the post office.
Yeah,
That's
so,
the hard
like,
part.
I,
Like-
I did it like twice, and I was finally like, okay, I can't do this. I just spent like $45 in postage. Like,
Right.
Mama needs another job.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't got the time. So anyway, I'm happy to do it, and you know, people send stuff to the office, and if they send it, then I'm happy to slip in. And a lot of people write letters, which is really nice because they could just send an envelope. That's all they want is the autograph, but they take the time to write a handwritten letter and tell me how much they loved me on this or that, if they followed my career, and I was a big part of their childhood. It's really nice. It's like really thoughtful.
Yeah. But
know?
really expensive to send it all back.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if they send me a thing, I'm happy to do it. You know.
That's rad. With Hollywood Darlings, is it a blast having your own show that you control?
Yes, it is. And I didn't have this feeling until, honestly, until I created Love and Lakin, which Ross, you helped me with.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I'd had that, I created something, I'm making it, I'm editing it, I'm in it. Like, I want to do this all the time. If this is what it can feel like, then yes, absolutely. I say yes.
Because I would always hit you and be like, yo, you should just fucking make your own shit.
Make your own shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were absolutely right. And so this was an opportunity, you know, for I think the three of us to do that. But I have found it to be, it's so fun. We're in charge of, you know, we're all three have so much input to the storylines, the kinds of stuff that we want to do, the guest stars that we bring on. You know, Beverly was very instrumental in the locations this year. She had several people who had, you know, she had relationships with. We fully, the three of us, pick our team behind us, and we had a team of a lot of really awesome women, which was something that the three of us are also very proud of, that we were able to bring on women behind the scenes and elevate them to executive producers. So it's great. It's so fun. It's a lot of work. We film 8 episodes in 5 weeks. So we are.
Yeah, you're going.
We are going. We do 3 days an episode.
Okay.
It's
wow.
fast.
That's real fast.
It's really fast.
And
So
you
there's
guys are,
not-
and it seems like you're genuinely best friends in real life.
Yeah, we all really get along very well.
That's great.
We are very different people, very different personalities, and I think that's why it works. We've known each other since we were kids, and then we went through a whole era in our 20s where we were all doing different things. Jody was going through her kind of struggles. I was in college. Beverly was like married and still on a show and then having babies.
Right.
But it's nice to come back together as adults and like we have this weird shared history that we'll never get away from. I don't know how you grow up in Hollywood and grow up on a TV show, and as normal as I feel like I am, despite all of that, there's a sense of like with people like Jody and Beverly, they get what I get because we have this childhood that was so odd and so similar.
But you're like, I would say the only normal person who, child-wise to now, is like...
Who you've met? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Child actor to now, though? Like
Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah, come on. Like, yeah. You were the only one who treats it like a business and like gets the gig, and it seemed like everybody else had like the drug years or something fucking terrible happened to them.
Yeah.
You don't really have any of that.
Well, two things. One, I spent half my childhood in Atlanta. So whenever I wasn't working, my parents were like, you're going back to a normal school. You're having a normal life. Like, we're not staying out in Hollywood and trying to get the next MOW.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to like, do other stuff on the side. And a lot of other parents became those like Kris Jenner momagers who were just trying to push their kid into movies and push their kid into this and whatever. The other side of that is that, I think they also like humbled me, probably almost to a negative degree where I was never like me thinking I was better than anyone else was just not a thing that was ever going to happen. And so there are some people, some child actors, I have a theory about this, when it becomes such a part of your self-worth that you are famous or making money or on a TV show or that everybody loves you or sees you, because you're given that every day as a child. You're so great. You're so wonderful. Can I have your autograph? I love you. You're doing such a great job. You get pumped up all day, every day. And then all of a sudden it fucking ends. It's done. Goodbye. The show is canceled. Fucking see you later.
Yeah, take your shit.
Like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
And it's very hard to, if your ego or your self-worth is wrapped up in that, how do you have the emotional capacity to understand or comprehend on any kind of cognitive level that what's really going on and not take it so personally?
Sure.
So I do think you have a lot of money, you have this pile of money, and you're 18 or 19 years old, and you're completely depressed. Yeah, I think that's why a lot of people try to find outlets, and I think LA is a very easy town to find a hanger-on, to find a yes man, to find someone saying, "Oh, you want to do bottle service? I'll come with you to the club. Nah, let's go to the after party. Let's stay out." You know, it's a town built on that kind of stuff.
What was going to school in Atlanta like when the show was on? Like, that had to be funny.
Kind of crazy because I was on a show.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like,
yeah. I'm not going to like a professional
because
after
everybody
school.
watched,
everybody watched
like,
that show.
That's all that was.
And I
was
started the show in 7th grade, so it was like
your entire.
It wasn't even like I was in high school and people were like, "Oh yeah, you're on that show." Like I was in the prime of like, "Oh my God, TGIF," so. In some ways, like in the beginning, it was a little odd. Like I'd go back to school, it's 7th grade, right? I'm trying to get to Spanish class, and there's like 4 or 5 or 10 people like following me to my locker. And I'm like trying to put books in my locker, and they're all asking me like crazy questions, right? Yeah. Like, is Patrick Duffy your real dad? And I'm like, no. And they're like, how much money do you make? And I'm like, I don't know. It
goes to my parents.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't keep trying, Yeah. And I mean, just like insane questions after questions. And then it kind of like died down. And then it was like old hat after a minute. But I also went to a small private school in Atlanta. So there were only, 150 kids, 140 kids in my class.
So they got the questions out.
Once they got that out, and then it just became this thing of like, oh yeah, she's in our class. She's never here. She's always like in LA and whatever. And I missed so much shit. Like I'd come home and like I had missed all of homecoming, most of the football games, especially in high school.
Yeah, I bet.
It was like out of sight, out of mind.
Because your hiatus is weird on a TV
Yeah.
show. So it's kind of during the school year, and
We would film like July to February, but I would go back every 3 weeks. So I was at school 1 week a month. And then from February to July, I was like normal. I did like the school musical, and I was like, playing soccer. And
do you remember that growing up in Atlanta, there was a thing called Kids Beat, and it
of
was like
course,
the news. Yeah.
My friend Corey was on it.
Oh, was she
We
really?
had it.
Uh-huh.
We had
I'm
it
Corey
too.
English for Kids Beat.
Yeah, we had
I loved it.
the girl. There was a girl with the brunette hair, and she was.
Yes.
I am so and so for Kids Beat.
Yes, I forget what her name was. I want to say it started with a T.
I went to elementary school with her.
Oh, you're kidding.
Wait, so to reverse this story, she was a fucking. She would show up in a white fur coat every day,
Oh, yeah.
dolled up like I'm a star. No one talked to me, and it was. I mean, for Kids Beat, and it was
Right.
like you were hosting fucking Kids Beat, and that to your point, like now hearing your story about that. Yeah, she's probably in a fucking ditch right now.
Probably. I mean, sadly, you're probably right. That's the problem. Like, if the other part of that is if you don't have parents really that are like, oh no,
Normal. Yeah,
this
yeah.
is how it's gonna go.
Right.
And mine were, my parents are really strict. Like they were like,
Well, no, when you get the
school-
pageant parents,
it's a totally
that's what they
different-
turn into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the pageant obsessed
Well, and
freaking lunatics.
look, I love this industry for many reasons, but this industry is also built on money. So when you have a child in the industry, it is not just the welfare worker's job, it's really your parents' job to draw the line and say, no, it has been 10 hours. We're going home.
Yeah, we're
Because
leaving.
there are so many, there's so many bending of the rules for production, and if a production is not, I don't know, if it's not on the up and up, like some really terrible things can happen and children can really get abused in many ways. And, it's that parent's job, I think, to be looking out for their kid. And so many of them are like having their own dreams realized, like vicariously.
Yeah. I see a lot of that. Like a lot of moms who are just like,
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
They
and
all
it's
of a
just
sudden
like,
got
hey.
the hair.
That's what I mean by the pageant moms.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the kids don't even really want to do it. Like even playing basketball
Yep.
growing up, I saw a couple kids on my team. They didn't want to play, but their dads made them play. And it was
Right.
just like, you're already starting
It's sad.
a long road there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. We had some really amazing producers, and it was a sitcom. I mean, it's a 9 to 4 job, people. It's
the best.
the best job in the
People
world.
don't understand. Like
4 days a week.
I think we've had all 1 hour drama people this week. Yeah. A sitcom is
Gotta get back
the
to sitcoms,
greatest
people.
job of all time.
Well,
Really do.
I
It's the easiest
say
fucking
that
job.
that block of time was like the best 8 years TV had.
I agree.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it was Friends, Seinfeld.
Yeah. Home
TGIF.
Improvement,
You had
TGIF.
that whole thing. You felt like
Roseanne.
every night, on the Thursday night
Drew
shows on
Carey.
NBC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're stuck with.
Daria.
Oh God, you love Daria. Loves Daria.
Doria.
No, I don't love Daria. I brought up. I asked if the voice of Daria
Loves
still
Daria.
sits at a bar
Loves
today
Daria.
and opens
Jesus.
up in line 3 with "I'm Daria."
No.
Like
he talks about
You
Daria
gotta
more
find
than you
Daria
should.
for him.
Oh,
know.
one time.
Just get her on the
One time.
podcast.
Because it was you. His two favorites. So he definitely has a type. Is you and Duff, the Duffster, Hillary Duff.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
yeah, but Hillary Duff came later.
Yeah. Well, obviously.
I'm a little older than her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she didn't look appealing until she was in War Inc. And played that
God.
Iranian,
Jesus
what?
Christ.
She played the Iranian.
Inc.?
Yeah, she played the Iranian princess. the Iranian pop star. You know, that's where she became
That is
hot.
the
I
most
get it.
Obscure
Obscure
reference.
movie of all time for Hillary Duff.
Wow.
War
okay.
Inc. And I've heard this out of your mouth before.
I'm
War,
gonna have to look that up.
War
Not
Inc.
on the
is
tip of my
fucking-
show you the
tongue.
picture.
No,
I'm going to show you the picture.
You can.
And you're going to
It's
see.
still not going to jog my memory of Hillary Duff
you know what?
is an
There are some-
Iranian princess.
There's
Iranian
Duff
pop
fans out
star.
there.
Yeah.
So she's all fucked up all the time, and she's kind of rowdy and
This is a real acting departure.
Yeah.
For her. Oh, okay.
Let's see it. Let's see this fucking thing. Jeez.
Wow.
yeah, she's super
Doesn't
filthy.
okay. One doesn't look like Hillary Duff. Two, it does not look like an Iranian. This is Hillary Duff. They just dyed her hair. This is actually super
Have you not
racist.
seen it? Have you not seen this?
Yeah, they
this
couldn't
movie
actually get
with
an
John
Iranian
Cusack?
pop star.
Like, it was John Cusack.
No.
You've never seen it?
No.
Oh God.
John Cusack
Yeah,
and
war
Hilary
movie.
Duff.
Was this a war movie?
No, it's
Oh.
about an arms dealer.
Okay.
Okay, but and John Cusack is an arms dealer.
Yeah.
And what's her fucking story?
He's somewhere in the Middle East, and she shows up, and I think he has to protect her or something. I can't remember. But I've seen it a lot.
Wow. Wow.
What's your favorite movie you've ever worked on?
I will say I really loved The Whiffler.
Oh yeah. So
Change
do
of
I. It
title.
was the fucking best.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
We
was a
had so
blast.
much fun.
Yeah.
And anytime I work with you, Ross, like you literally just let me do whatever I want. So
Yeah.
It's just like, go for it.
No, but as an actor, like that is the dream.
It's the dream. But I will say this. So like to that point, I usually try to hire people who are fucking great and capable and can improv. And it's like, I don't really have to talk to them that much. Where it's, to me, I feel if you're that great, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Although I have run into it where it's been the opposite, where it's just like, we had a guy on Range 15. He's done 100, 200 movies, and I didn't say anything to him. And he was like, aren't you going to give me any fucking direction on this? I was like, you've been doing 200 movies. We're making fun. We're in the zombie apocalypse with a bunch of
Right.
veterans. Like, do you really want notes on where I think these possible zombies are going to come in through?
Right.
Like, and he did. And I was surprised by that. I was like, oh man, I don't know if you feel this way on your show. Like, all of these people have worked for so long. It's
Yeah.
like, what am I, besides blocking
Right.
and where I need you to go? Like, you want performance notes? And then I'm happy to give them, but like,
I don't want them, but I want
I
to
don't
know
either.
that you've got my back. If it
Yeah.
doesn't look good, I need to know that you're like, hey, try it this way.
Same, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I just want to know that you're watching and if it's great, I love everything you're doing. It's great. Great.
Yeah,
Then
but
I'm
it's
cool.
also one of those sets too, and you can't do this on any other set. Is to be like, hey, did you think of this? What if we did this?
Yeah.
yeah.
And he goes,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
You try that on somebody
Exactly.
else's set, and they go, why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you talking to me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
boring. Like, most sets are boring, but if
But-
you get to do what you want.
Coming from an editing
best.
background too, you can see things real quick. I've been on a set where I went,
Yeah.
that isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to get this scene in the edit and go, ooh, we fucked this up. But it's like, do you say something?
I know.
And I know the edit so well now. And this is like, I will say this, like I cheat as an actor where I'll say the same line 30 fucking times or whatever it is, just because I know I need that one take for the edit, and that's
Right.
it. And like,
Right.
I mean, it was 2 movies ago. I just whoever else was in the scene with me was like, I get this dinner, and I was like, I don't even need you. And they're like, it's a 3-page scene. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I know what the edit looks like. So
Yeah.
just staying with a tennis ball to the crew, like,
Yeah.
and that's terrible. It's terrible to do, but
Yeah.
that's the cheat that I use, where it's just like, all right.
Yeah, but as the producer, the
Oh, yeah,
director on
the
it, like
main-
you're already thinking
The
ahead.
main
It's like
scene
one
in,
shot.
Yeah.
in our movie where he has like the most important dialogue with us, we weren't even there.
Yeah. Right.
I was like, I'll do it myself.
You're
So
like,
they're
I know how to do it.
They're like, you don't want anything for 3.5 pages? I was like, no, I just don't care. I know the lines, and
Yeah.
like, and like, if I said it wrong, I'd just be like, all right, I'm starting again.
Yeah.
That's it.
I've had that scene from Darnell Dawkins on my reel.
Oh, yeah,
forever, because
Dude.
it's just such a departure from anything else I have, and it was so fun to film, and I look like such a different person.
It's still it's probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really where I have the most fun, is where I'm playing like an absolute, either like in Hollywood Darlings, I'm playing such a characterized version of myself, which is
Right.
like the easiest thing ever, or I'm playing a complete departure from who I am entirely. My husband and I did a movie together, independent movie, like 2.5 years ago, called Jimmy the Saint. It's just coming out. It just got a distribution deal now, but it's been done the festival circuit and stuff. And it's this Russian mob drama, and he put 30 pounds on to play this like heavy weight,
Holy shit.
Russian mobster. Like shaved his hair, has like this spike hair in the middle, has this crazy Russian accent. He looks crazy, and I am like a cracked out Russian madam. And I was 3 months pregnant, so everything I'm wearing is like low and like, you know, I've got my boobs hanging out and I've got this muffin top, which was really my baby, hanging out. And I'm just like, you know, I've got these like ridiculous nails and teeth, like nasty teeth. And I did my own makeup every day. I got my own costumes for it. Like, that's the shit I love,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And like, that made me so excited because it felt like doing theater. And the director/writer, Brandon Morgan, was so like you. He was like, "Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that. Try this."
Yeah.
And we had rehearsal ahead of time. Like that was fun for me. When you do some big studio movies, you get none of like it's a completely the opposite. It's like here's 5 things that I'd like you to try on. You have no say in what you wear.
And then we got to approve it to the director.
We have
So
to-
we'll take a
everything's
picture,
we're taking
and then the
pictures.
director will come back and say whether he approves that outfit
Right.
or not. It's like, well, if he's fucking approving it anyways, just pick out the goddamn outfit you want me
Right.
to wear.
It doesn't
Like,
matter.
Yeah.
What I think my character wears does not matter at all. And then you go in, they give you your blocking, you say your few lines. Sometimes you try to improv. They go, "Can you just say it the way it's
Yeah,
written?"
yeah.
And you're like, "Yes, I can."
Buddy of mine was
Making
on
residuals on this movie. Better just do it the way they want.
That's exactly what I you're thinking of that mailbox money that's rolling through, and you're like, fuck it. My buddy of mine was on 24, and they stopped him he forgot to say the word "the" in a sentence, and they were like, "Hey, you missed that line. You want to try it again?" And he's like, "Oh man, I don't feel like I missed it." Like, you didn't say the word "the," and literally go back, and he was
That's
just like,
happened to me.
"Oh, are you kidding?"
Yes. I mean, I'm not kidding. Seventh Heaven was very word perfect. There's a couple other shows that are word perfect.
God,
But that comes from the
Seventh
showrunner.
Heaven.
yeah.
That comes from the showrunner or the writer, that wanting everything to be completely word perfect. Because I've also been on shows where there's you know, it can be a little looser. Like Modern Family is not like that. They stick to the script, even though it seems like it's very improvised.
Sure.
You can you know, make it your own, and they're fine with it.
That's cool.
That is the nicest show to work on.
I'm
Honestly.
sure. They seem like the happiest cast of all time.
They're making so much money.
I
They
know.
better be.
They're each making what,
Who the
$2
fuck-
million
That's
a
the
show.
thing I don't get. When
crazy.
you're on a hit show, you work like, and because they're the way they shoot, some of them work 2 days a week.
That's it.
They shoot them out, and that's
Yeah.
it. It's hilarious. It's fairly easy for what you're doing.
Yeah.
You better be having a good fucking
know.
time.
I
Why
know.
should anyone be pissed in a job like that?
Yeah.
That's what I don't get. I've been to sets where it's just so cranky and it's miserable, and people seem like they fucking hate their jobs.
Yeah, but then the second they're not working, they're complaining about not working.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
you're miserable when you are.
I know.
That's awful.
We're at that point. We do this thing called the Drinkin' Bro of the Week every week, and it's the most inspirational or influential person in your life coming up. We let you have the Drinkin' Bro of the Week.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Is this gonna be past or present?
Yes.
Well, for the person that comes to mind, I think because he will probably always come to mind, for me would be Gary Marshall. And
One of the
he
greatest
was-
directors of all time.
Yeah, and he's somebody whose films I watched and loved from a very early age. You know, whether it was Overboard or Pretty Woman or Frankie and Johnny. You know,
You've been in a lot of his movies.
and I've been in a lot of his movies. And this was a man who, you know, by all intents and purposes, has like a stable of actors he's worked with time and time again. There's a reason for it.
Yep.
When I started working at his theater, I was doing children's shows. I was 25, 26. I was sort of at a lull in my career. I didn't know what to do. And I decided to go back to theater, and I auditioned for a kids show of all things and got it. And I was doing kids musicals on the weekends.
You're
and
kidding.
He saw me and took a liking to me, and that led to doing a play he directed, which led to getting into a theater company there and doing Happy Days the musical, which he also directed, and then I did 4 of his films.
Wow.
And he was an angel to me, and he had the ability that I think is so lost these days, especially when you are that big. He's so famous.
Yeah.
And not only as like a personality, but also for all the films he did. And he just was the nicest person. And he would have these like gems, these like little bits of wisdom where, you know, he would say things like, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And like you could see at his memorial, like it was packed. People were there, like some of the biggest stars in the world, people that he had put
Yeah.
in little tiny bits in his movies throughout the years. People loved him. And I always thank him for, I guess, kind of taking me under his wing.
Cheers.
That's awesome. Well, cheers to Gary Marshall, Christine Lakin. Thank you for being here. Where can people find you on your social?
You can find me on all social at Yo Lakin. Yo Lakin.
Yo.
Hey, yo, Lakin.
Yo, Lakin.
Yo, Lakin. Yo, Lakin. We'll go to her Instagram, hit her up, Drinkin' Bros. Let her know you appreciate her being on the show. Thanks for being here. You're one of my favorite actors, and
You just have to say that because you're sitting across from me.
I don't. We probably put you in everything. We've done so many fucking
No,
things
yeah,
together.
totally
Like
kidding you.
it's crazy. For
can
Jared
I-
Taylor.
Can I plug my podcast?
Yes.
Yes.
If you
by all
guys
means.
also like other podcasts,
Other podcasts.
Yeah.
Which
find
they do.
us-
They all do.
Find us at Worst Ever Podcast. It's a podcast I created out of a live show, and we have celebrities and actors come on and tell the worst things that have ever happened to them.
Oh,
That's
awesome.
actually interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So,
It is.
I feel like, humiliation can just be turned into comedic gold. 'Cause
It
why not?
should.
Yeah.
It should.
Yeah,
and when
I'm
do
going to
you guys,
apply for that one, actually.
I feel like
Yeah.
I've
I've got
got
a
a lot of
lot.
stories. No thanks.
when does that drop during the week?
Fridays.
Fridays.
Every
okay.
Friday.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Thank
bet.
you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.